Baby, come give me something, oh. Baby, come give me something, oh. Cause I can't stop loving, since I got a taste of your love. Baby, come give me something, oh. I can tell you ain't from round here. All that body, baby, it's not fair. Pull up on that ass in a drop head. That's your ex nigga.
Hey Sranto, make sure you cut all the trees in this area, and then after you cut it, you burn all of it. Make sure you make it quickly, okay? I want my business to be done quickly. I need money, I want to be rich. Yes, Danny, I already tell Sranto to cut and clear all the trees in the area. Then he will burn it. Don't worry, we will be rich. Our business will go effortlessly. So, yeah, who cares about the environment? I want to be rich. I don't care about the environment. So, see you tomorrow, Danny. Bye. So basically, there are several factors which causes a climate change in Indonesia. So first is the activity of cut, slash and burn. This is one of the biggest contributor that causes climate change in Indonesia. And second is the activity of deforestation, whereby lots of companies, they decided to cut all the trees for their business and commercial activities. So thank you.
Why today looks different with all of this grey thing? I'm supposed to enjoy my morning exercise, but what is happening right now? I barely can see well. Is it a dog or a car in front of me? This is not a good sign. I should check the situation online. No wonder, according to the news, we are experiencing haze due to transboundary air pollution done by Indonesia. According to The Guardian, they intentionally lit out their forests to clean their land for agricultural purposes. Substantial part of their land or forest has been ablaze for more than months, causing this toxic air, and shockingly, today's API or air index pollution reached almost 200. What a bad incident for us, Malaysia. I should go home instead of exercise. What a bad day.
Hi, my name is Dr. Krizat and I'm from the Department of Environmental Science, Faculty of Science and Environmental Studies, University of Sultan Zainal Abidin. Several research has shown that the level of air pollution in Malaysia fall within the range of good and moderate. But one of the most significant effects of air pollution is its release and accumulation of greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide, certain other trace gas including methane, nitrous oxide, chlorofluorocarbon and tropospheric ozone in the atmosphere. Human activities have changed the climate of the Earth. In less than 2 centuries, humans have increased the total amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere by 25% by using fossil fuels and destroying forests. As a result, the greenhouse effect is outrageous. Hence, as long as the greenhouse gas emissions are not controlled, the current stable climate will only be recorded. Potential impacts of climate change in the Malaysian context will include sea level rise, reduced crop yields, greater disease among forest species and biodiversity loss, erosion of shorelines, increased flood intensities, coral reef bleaching, increased incidences of disease, tidal inundation of coastal areas, decreased water availability, loss of biodiversity, and more droughts, among other things. I hope that my research on the effect of air pollution helps to further create awareness among the Malaysian for ensuring sustainable development in the process of national development, and the environment is always clean, healthy and safe for the well-being of the people. Thank you.
First and foremost, I would like to say thank you to all the media for coming here today. As you can see here, we are actually conducting a meeting between both countries. Together with me, the Prime Ministers of Malaysia, We are going to negotiate and discuss further in regards to the air pollution crisis and also the transboundary haze pollution, which occurs in countries like Singapore, Malaysia, and we will further find a better solutions for both countries. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. Actually, I'm very happy that we can conduct this meeting between Indonesia and Malaysia. We hope that in the end of this meeting, we can find solution for this dispute, as this matter involves two states and other Asian countries as well. So it's best for us to find solution for this matter as soon as possible. Concerned with the current haze pollution issue, I, as the Prime Minister of Malaysia, would like to propose the United Convention, which is Stockholm Declaration Conference, to address this global environmental problem. This convention reaffirmed that Principle 21, which mentioned that states must ensure that their jurisdiction activity do not cause significant cross-boundary environmental damage, which stated under No Harm Principle. Addressing the issue between Malaysia and Indonesia, it is possible to bring Indonesia to environmental court and claim compensation. It is a challenging task as Indonesia's consent might be required for this purpose. However, in the current situation where both states have an economic benefit, it is better to address peacefully in a bilateral discussion and in a regional forum, since claiming compensation from Indonesia is not necessarily a positive action. Suing Indonesia and claiming compensation is not a politically viable option. Next, Malaysia would like to emphasize on the Paris Agreement under the United Framework Convention on Climate Change to address this issue. The Paris Agreement was created on the convention, and for the first time it brings all nations in a common cause to undertake ambitious effort to face the climate change and adapt to its effect. Indonesia should focus on regulation on the conservation and rehabilitation of peatland to measure the cut down emission. As parties under this agreement, I believe that Malaysia and Indonesia should be obliged to protect the right to health and recognize the social, economic and environmental value of voluntary mitigation action and their core benefit for the adaptation and health and sustainable development as stated under the Paris Agreement. This is because the Paris Agreement is not only an environmental commitment but is a potentially the most important health agreement of this century. Lastly, Malaysia would like to encourage Indonesia to focus on Convention on Biological Diversity, which is CBD. This convention's main goals are to conserve biological diversity, the sustainable use of its component, and the fair and equitable sharing of benefit arising from these genetic resources. The preservation of biodiversity is a common concern of humankind. The conservation on biological diversity covers biodiversity at all levels, ecosystem species, and genetic resources. In the long run, Indonesia has to find a balance between protectionism and sensible access to its national biodiversity to tackle global challenge in biodiversity conservation, health issue, food security, and climate change. Climate change and biodiversity loss are among the global challenge and modern threat, especially in mega-diverse countries like Indonesia. So, mega-diverse countries like Indonesia have a worldwide effect by influencing climate, bioresources, human well-being, and health on a large scale. Biodiversity does not stop at the national border, and they are general environmental threat to all Asian members that have to face. So, as the Prime Minister of Malaysia, I really hope that both states can work together to face this pollution and come to an agreement so we all can find a solution for this problem as soon as possible.
I consider it as a true honor and privilege to be here together with the Prime Minister of Malaysia on settling the disputes in regards to the air pollution crisis between Malaysia and Indonesia. As Malaysia highlighting the significance of changes and reform in their laws, it is indeed our duty to respond to it. The Sustainable Development Goal is a vision to promote sustainable space universally and as a guideline for a better world society. The related goal that should be discussed under SDG here is to encourage more nuanced actions on curbing the climate issue. And addressing the complication between countries like Malaysia and Indonesia regarding the transboundary haze that affected the air quality and action must be taken. Indonesia had considered the national policies that should be taken and will further call for policies regarding the farmer who conducted the slash and burn, which become the major contributor to the issue. As the Prime Minister of Malaysia had already assured us that the implementations of their laws and investigations toward Indonesia's company will not infringe the sovereignty of the country, Indonesia encourages the investigation to be made in order to handle the crisis from prolonging. As the President of Indonesia, I think it is crucial for us to refer to the Article 3 of the agreement in regards to the transboundary haze pollution. The agreement expressly declared that it is the duty of parties to show solidarity to take precautionary measures on monitoring transboundary haze pollutions. The agreement indicates the Malaysia and Indonesia basis to assemble all the stakeholders, local communities, non-governmental organizations, farmer and private enterprise to cater to the root cause of haze pollutions. So, Indonesia is eager to curb the issues as we will provide help on the details and research regarding the issues that happened in Sumatra. This is indeed our solidarity to Malaysia in this case. In reflections towards Malaysia's effort in curbing the issue, Indonesia would like to refer to Article 4 of the agreements in regards to the transboundary haze pollution, whereby we should cooperate in the production and applications of preventive initiatives and track transboundary haze emissions as a product of land and forest fires. Additionally, Indonesia shall also give early warnings in regards to the transboundary haze pollution to Malaysia. This is to indeed minimize the consequences on the transboundary haze pollution. Indonesia will assist Malaysia to curb the air pollution crisis for the sake of good relations that both countries have. It is indeed our duty as the Indonesian government to comply with the world aspirations to cater the climate change issue. We hope that the cooperation that both countries have will give a better environment to not just countries like Malaysia and Indonesia, but for ASEAN countries. With that, thank you. In conclusion, diplomacy alone cannot solve the problem. After all, too much diplomacy and too little action have been responsible for the recurring nightmare known as the haze. Developing a two-pronged approach that combines diplomacy and action-oriented accountability will strengthen Indonesia and Malaysia's strategy in tackling the haze issue in the long run.
Diplomatic cooperation between these countries can coexist with the law that holds domestic companies responsible for the international misconduct that affect the region.
Being nice to the air, we have to share.